Hey guys, as lots of you would already know, the unemployment rate in Japan is really low. So for that and a few other reasons, lots of companies, including convenience stores and restaurants and so on, rely on part-time workers to run their businesses. So that says arubaito, pato. So albaito, so it's part-time work and casual work. And so they're looking for casual workers and part-time workers. And a lot of these signs are permanent. So if you look at this as a yakiniku restaurant, very good yakiniku restaurant, the biggest sign on the restaurant is that big one on the wall that's there permanently, looking for staff. So it says how much they pay per hour for different times of day. It's usually about, for part-time workers, it's usually about 1,000 yen, so about $10 an hour, $12 an hour. But see again, the biggest signs on the building, and this one too, has a sukiyaki place, and the biggest sign on the building is the one looking for staff. And that sign will be there permanently. It's always there. So if you spend time in Japan, you'll see this. Just about every convenience store, just about every restaurant, just about every business that you go to will have a sign on the wall saying that they're looking for part-time staff. So just to clarify though, obviously some people are going to see this and get really excited. It's not necessarily of any use to foreigners because, of course, you're not going to get a visa to come and work at a job like this, or you're not going to get a company like this to sponsor you. So the only time that a job like that's going to be worthwhile to you, first of all, is if you have maybe a student visa or a cultural visa or permanent residency or a spouse visa or something else that doesn't require you to have a employer sponsor and that allows you to do any job. That'll be the first thing that you'd require to have a part-time job here. The other thing that would be required, of course, is for you to get through the interview process and get the job. And the truth is that most of these companies, it's just easier for them to employ a Japanese person, because you've got the language thing. See that big red sign there? Again, that's a permanent sign looking for part-time and casual staff on a restaurant. And it's there, it's permanent. It's nailed to the wall. So yeah, of course, if a company's got a choice of employing a Japanese person or a foreigner, it's just easier to employ a Japanese person. You've got the language thing with, you know, a native Japanese person's obviously going to have the Japanese skills, reading and writing and speaking and everything else. And then the cultural differences. You know, Japanese staff know how to respond to Japanese bosses. So not to say foreigners don't get part-time jobs, of course you can, but the combination of the visa thing and getting the part-time job thing, just sort of clarifying to you, to be realistic, it's not going to be easy. This is actually a menu, and we see this quite a lot too. So this is the menu for this kebab shop, and on the menu is a permanent advertisement for staff. And we see that too. A lot of restaurants and places like that will have inside the menu, will have, or on the back of the menu, will have an advertisement like that trying to attract staff. So it's quite incredible, isn't it, when you compare it with some countries where it's very difficult to find a job. You know, for a Japanese person looking for a part-time job, it's just endless opportunities. And of course, there's an aging population. You know, there's a whole heap of reasons for this. But anyway, there it is. And then how's this one? This is actually the Japan post box that you put your mail in, and it has a sign on it looking for part-time mail staff. And that's not the only one of those we've seen. We've seen lots of post boxes with signs on them advertising for part-time staff. So it's really quite incredible. Obviously, a lot of these companies are struggling. You can see there the pay range is from $10 an hour to $16 an hour. But obviously, a lot of these companies are struggling to get enough staff to keep up the good service. So again, we never want to mislead anybody or give people the wrong impression. That's why we really want to clarify that this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be any easier for someone wanting to come live in Japan and to get some work. But if you fulfilled the requirements, it's a possibility. You know, if your reading and writing and spoken Japanese are really good, or if it's a job that that wasn't required, but you'd have to get past the prejudice, and there's no doubt we've talked about discrimination in Japan before, and it definitely exists. So, but anyway, there it was, part-time and casual jobs in Japan. More videos coming soon.